getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nuoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Hayes deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Sunday night and it's iGPFun here as well. Round 8, Season 3, live from Sebring International Raceway. I'm James Barber, going to be joined in the booth by one Mr. Edward Hunter here this evening as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's have a look at the current top 20 of the championship. So obviously we've only just covered the top 20 due to the fact that there is being so many drivers in there. And, well, I'd be here all day if I didn't cover the top 20. So let's have a look at the top 20 and give you that rundown. So in first place, Pedro Suarez on 284 points is currently out in front from Kevin Webster on 252, then Antonio Jimenez on 250, tied with Robert Ridgway. Then we got Mackenzie Roon on 235, then Evan Way, Andy Frint, Christian Glamsia, Thibard Rabelard and Brent Ruiz round out the top 10. Adam Townsman, Lee Aberdeen, Nicholas Westman, Dennis Cornu and Costas Tenebreo is in that top 15. Moving on, then we've got Don Lee, Eddie Amos, Will McIntyre, Tommy Maru and Marcius Putnieks, and that is the current top 20. We are coming just into the end of qualifying. We've got about 3 minutes remaining, just enough time to talk to Ed here. Ed, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Oh, good, thanks. It's been a couple of races since I last commentated, but yeah, great to see the championship still holding up. Pedro Suarez still leading it, of course, but of course the man who's really been on form last couple of races is our reigning champion, Lee Aberdeen, who's started a bit of a winning streak, winning the last 2, of course, since Fuji. And of course, Sebring, normally associated with sports cars, but back in the day it did hold, in the late 50s, it did hold Formula 1 encounters, so I guess it's not completely alien territory for here in California. But yeah, it should be great to see how these cars, these Indy Lights F3s or level cars, put through their paces. And a lot of top drivers looking to prove something, with Aberdeen looking very, very strong as qualifying is coming to a close, currently just ahead of Tony Jimenez.
Yeah, Lee Aberdeen going on for 3 in a row after his victory in Fuji, his victory in Spa. What's he going to be able to do here as well? Anna's here. Welcome in. Evening, James. Evening to you, dear sir, as well. We have got a fun one. We've got 25 laps. We got the purple zone that goes all the way around to turn 5. That's on the run down into Big Bend, down into the hairpin, and as I say, there is 25 laps for them to do at this circuit. Being on an old airfield, I suppose, one of the characteristics of Sebring is the bumps, right? Let's be real about it. The bumps of Sebring will at times rattle your teeth if you have any issues, you know, and these cars aren't high off the ground here, Ed. How are they going to be able to cope with the bumps that's been happening here as well?
Well, I mean, you can change the suspension a bit, make it, if you make it stiffer, it makes the problem worse. If you make it softer, there'll be a bit more give in it, that'll help. But you're looking more for speed rather than comfort, especially over a fairly short race, let's be honest, 25 laps, compared to some of the endurance races you might have at Sebring, where you do want to make sure you've got some teeth left by the end of a 2 or 4 to 4 hour stint. But yeah, I think you can also change your sim setup so that it's a little bit less force feedback if that's the case. But often that means you've got less feel, and then if your tyres are starting to go away at the end, you can't feel it as easily, and suddenly the rears light up and you're faced the wrong way out of the hairpin at turn 7. But yeah, so there's lots of things to manage. Sebring, like I said, one of those old school tracks, but certainly it can catch out the unwary, and in some places you have to go sort of deceptively slower than you really want to, especially in a much lighter single-seater car than some of the prototypes and GD cars that you usually see raced around here.
Yeah, I think these cars are going to be a bit more teeth rattling. Obviously, for us, obviously being in sim, they don't feel it as what they would normally. So I think at the end of the day, they might be all right. You know, none of these are going to have to go to the dentist.
I don't think anyone's going to get seriously injured.
Yeah, let's be real. You know, the only thing they might get is obviously seasick if they end up going in VR and they get spun up and spun round and do multiple little pirouettes and over and flips and stuff. But that's about as dramatic as it's going to get, right? Let's be real. They can get up and they can walk away. One of the advantages of being in sim to being in IRL is obviously this is a lot safer and a lot cheaper in the long run, depending on what sim you set up here as well. Now, I don't know if you've ever raced at Sebring, Ed, but have you got an opinion on where the best place will be for them to make an overtake?
I've watched quite a few races at Sebring, like I say, usually endurance races. The only time I ever raced on Sebring, and this is going to sound very sad, is on a version that was made for Trackmania League. So we tried to make it look as close to real Sebring as possible, but it had a lot more walls, let's put it that way. And I wasn't particularly great. Well, I think I came second or something in a race I did there. But anyway, more to the point here, in terms of stuff to look out for, I think that run into turn 1, it's a lovely corner. I love turn 1 because you sort of, it's one of those corners that where it's so bumpy and you really just sort of have to hang on in that left-hander if you want to make it through. You can sort of lead you into an overtaking opportunity to turn 3 if you carry speed through it, but usually it's that run down the straight into 1 that the moves are made. I think the Ullman straight, that back straight into Sunset, is another classic overtaking maneuver. Sometimes I've seen moves done into sort of that turn 10, 11 complex. I've seen a lot of single-seaters. I remember watching an IndyCar race here on R Factor 2, I think it was. I saw drivers going side by side through 10, 11, through sort of Collier into sort of Tower Bend as well. So Banana Bend and Tower Bend, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I think you can definitely make a few overtakes happen if you follow someone closely enough, plan it out in advance, as you always seem to have to do in sim racing, and then sort of execute, wait for the opportunity to present itself, and you know, pick the right moment, because it's so easy to pick the wrong moment and find yourself missing a front wing or bumping into somebody.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's just being able to, you know, get your turning points right and get your maneuvers done properly. We are just coming to the end of qualifying. I think Will McIntyre Jones possibly could. Nope, he's gone off there as well. Tony Jimenez and Adam Townsend. That would be the end of quali. We'll bring you up the grid here as well. We have 36 drivers out on track, which was kind of expected in conjunction. It's still a good number, but obviously for these guys who are used to having 40 and 50, well, you know, we've only got 36. We've got Lee Aberdeen out in front at the moment on pole position with Tony Jimenez second, Pedro Suarez in third, then Will McIntyre Jones in fourth, Kevin Swemstra fifth, Evan Way sixth, Mackenzie Roon in seventh with Robert Ridgway down in eighth, Kevin Byland ninth and Christian Glamseater in 10th place. Andy Flynn and Don Lee round out 11 and 12. Clark Williams 13th, Patrick Williams 14th, Adam Townsend 15th, Fibard Rabelard 16th, Koji Ito 17th with Joseph Lucas 18th, Chris Trott 19th, Jack Williams down in 20th, Marcius Putnieks in 21st, and Zoltan Zamoda in 22nd. And you've got John McKenzie and Ngayan in 24th place. Alex Sevillano in 25th, Stu Milne 26th, Murray Gottlob and Marcello Kessler, Eddie Amos and Costas Tenebrae round out the top 30. Ben Goyette, Maximilian Gerbart, Noel Richard Robinson, Matthew Gracie, James Rush and Dorian Rowe, and at the end in 36th place. So we're going to be going up front with Tony Jimenez and Pedro Suarez sitting on the front row to see how the guys manage to get these cars off the line and how good they manage to do it. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be a very interesting one. 36 drivers were usually 50 something. Shows how Sebring is in that light. Mate, to be fair though, Al, as well, I will point out that it's very, very hot and it's summer, and a lot of people are not on track during the summer period when you think about some of these guys are doing it in their loft. And it gets very, very hot, mate, to be honest with you. So summer months do cause a little bit of a problem. I know we're in the UK, but yes, there are some places that do get some. So there we go. Lights are going to be coming on. Remember, no active overtakes right the way through to turn 5. But here we go, 5 lights. It's green, green, green. Lee Aberdeen got that car off the line. Tony Jimenez in second. He's going to trying to sweep round the turn 1 here on the outside. Pedro Suarez is in there. Will McIntyre Jones and Evan Way are locked in alongside Kevin Byland there. But it is Lee Aberdeen who leads the way going into turn 2. The left-hander. He's got to jink a little bit to the right. Then he's got to come left, and now we're on that run down Gurney Bend. It's going to be interesting to see if Aberdeen can hold on. This will be the first opportunity for Tony Jimenez to have a good go here, but at the moment Lee Aberdeen out in front and absolutely flying.
Yep, a perfect start for Lee Aberdeen. Very good for Will McIntyre Jones as well to hold on from Kevin Zemstra. It looked like Zemstra, of course the man second in the points, was trying to make a move into turn 1, but McIntyre Jones covered him off brilliantly there. And it'll be interesting. I expect that top 3 of Aberdeen, Jimenez, Suarez to sort of pull away from the rest of the pack and have to sort of add up for the win all to themselves then. So Aberdeen, as long as he keeps his nerve, keeps his head, he should be able to just control things out front, unless Tony Jimenez has anything to say about that, or indeed Pedro Suarez himself.
Yeah, through the right-hander, they've gone off Tower now, down flying Fortune Straight, then into Bishop's Bend. You want to stay to the left-hand side here, if you can stay to the left-hand side of that line. can run it straight through now into Lamont. The right hand through Lamont curve, and then they're going to be going onto the Almond Straight. This is going to be the first opportunity for Pedro Suarez. Is he going to be able to make a move? Pulled into Tony Jimenez here. Here we go for Pedro Suarez. He's closing. He's closing. They're up and running. They are fighting. They're now all in position. Tony Jimenez Pedro Suarez does make it through on Tony Jimenez there as well. Great job from him. Takes that second place. Now it's all about what Jimenez is going to be able to do. You can see the group starting to develop a little bit here as well. Obviously from Mackenzie Broom back are also locked into their own battle further back as well. And then there's Andy Flint, Kevin Byland, Clark Williams all going at each other once more as these guys coming towards us actually side by side.
Yep, very, very close. Here we go. Andy Flint just losing out to Byland at turn 1 there. Bad first lap though for Patrick Williams because he dropped from around about 15th all the way down to the very back of the field there. So him and Marcelo Kessler getting into incidents then. But yes, Pedro Suarez had that. He went as wide as he could, didn't he? Through, I think that was into Le Mans. And got the run he needed. And there's Kessler, and I think that's Patrick Williams just in the wall there in the background.
Yeah, I think he spun it up coming out of Le Mans, to be fair. I think he's put the power down far too early, over the curb, unsettled the car, onto the other side, boom, into the wall. And then you're going to watch Marcelo Kessler come round on the outside. He's already round out there as well. He's going to come along and run along the grass underneath us very shortly here. There he is. So all in all, a little bit scrappy out in the back end, but they've managed to get it all sorted out now. Lee Aberdeen out in front by from Suarez over half a second. Glamseater, Byland, they're battling away further down. Byland's got Flint, Williams, Don Lee. Then we've got Adam Townsmer's group of him and Joseph Lucas, and then Chris Trott with Rabelard, Jack Williams, Lado, Zamota and Putnieks all in this one here currently. So there's a lot of action taking place, and Guyan, Eddie Amos and Costas Tenebrao have got a big old group of cars behind them currently at the moment here as well. So Guyan, Amos, Tenebrao, Gerhardt, Ben Goyette, Matthew Gracie, Dorian Aruro, James Rush, Noel, Richie Robinson are all in this little nestle of groups here. It's always going to be difficult, I think, for some of these drivers who have got to use that draft, but then it becomes a very much a draft train almost, like we see in Formula One at times.
Indeed, yeah, so you've got to make sure you're at the head of the train come the end of it. Right now, not too important, but as the laps tick on, you need to make that progress, especially if you start further down the field. Meanwhile, Kevin Zemstra made a move on Will McIntyre-Jones into Sunset Bend. Pedro Suarez also sets the fastest lap of the race, a tenth quicker than Lee Aberdeen, so it's game on at the front. And Aberdeen has got the championship leader nipping at his heels. Great to see Suarez and Aberdeen going at it. Two of the top drivers, I think, in IGP this year. Yeah,
definitely. They're both having outstanding seasons. Aberdeen, obviously, once he start getting his points on the board and can start moving himself through, he hasn't got long, mind you. We're on round 8. We're going up to 12, so he's not got long after that to basically get himself sorted out and start getting some wins, more wins than the 2 that he's already got to move himself up through the championship. It's going to be a push, but the champion, of course, is trying to defend his title this season is Lee Aberdeen, and at the moment he's got Pedro Suarez who's trying to take his championship away from him, snapping at his heels here. What's Aberdeen going to be able to do down the Almond Straight? Because surely he's just wide open to the elements of the draft.
Yeah, well, surely the best strategy is to sort of kind of delay him at the apex, sort of try and limit the run that he gets out and force him to sort of drive the way he wants him to in a way that he can defend from. And you see Suarez actually gets very untidy on the exit of Le Mans, and Tony Jimenez is going to take the opportunity and nip right back through this. That was Aberdeen sort of forcing Pedro Suarez to take a sort of risky trajectory there, and it didn't quite pay off for Pedro.
Yeah, Suarez is going to have to go again here. He's going to get another stab at the cherry. Robert Ridgway did not get past on Evan Way. What about Lucas? Is he going to lose that place to Townsmer on the inside? Townsmer's trying. He's tightened it up the final corner through Sunset. He's going to try and get out on the entry. He's going to open it up, let it run a little bit wide. He didn't leave it as wide as I thought he was going to. Now Lucas is going to come snapping. Chris Trott's going to come snapping. It looks like Glamseater see has had a bit of a moment. He's on the right-hand side, but here we go. Lucas is going to try and go up the inside of Adam Townsman. He got the job done. Is he going to give Townsman room on the left-hand side? He is. There is currently Lucas. Townsman's not going to be able to get it back. Goes in a little bit hot. That's going to jeopardize his exit, and Lucas manages to hold on and retake that position away. Evan Way, Robert Ridgway still battling it out here as well. Gaps up front starting to open up a little bit. It's more of the mid-pack where the action is at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think Christian Glamseder, very sadly for him, will go no further in the race because we saw him retiring just in front of that Townsma Joseph Mark Lucas battle, and full commitment from Mark Lucas into turn one there, and that really made that move possible. It was right up the inside through Sunset as well, almost back to Townsma into Chris Trott, and now Chris Trott indeed has taken that 14th position away from Adam Townsma as we look at Evan Way desperately trying to challenge Mackenzie Room and keep Robert Ridgway at bay, which is Canadian sandwiched by the two Americans either side of him.
Yeah, he is currently. He's going to have to try. Not really sure what Evan Way's going to be able to do here. He's going to have to try and chase Mackenzie Room while trying to defend with Ron Ridgway. And as we know, that person in the middle is always in that difficult situation. Adam Townsma, Sevillano behind him, and then Chris Trott behind that. Townsma's going to come under the cosh once more, going down now the Ullman Straight here. Adam Townsma's going to have to try and do something. He's not really sure what he's going to be able to do here. Can he do absolutely anything whatsoever? His job pulled out, and Alex is going to make his way through. He's got the inside line. He's got the job done over Adam Townsma. Again, not really a lot Townsma can do. That draft is so strong, and Ridgway is just about nearly, Way's on the gravel on the outside of one. Robert Ridgway does make it through there as well. So Evan Way, unfortunately, Robert Ridgway took that position away.
Indeed. So as you said, you didn't think much of Evan Way's chances, and it seems that's come true, sadly, for Evan. But still plenty of time left in the race, 20 laps to go, and Evan Way, no reason to give up just yet. But very impressive from Alex Sevillano-Lado, because he's gained 11 positions from where he started then. So, of course, Hydra Race teammate to Pedro Suarez, and it seems all that help potentially with the setup is rubbing off on him as Alex is just picking them off one by one.
Yeah, great job from Alex there as well, moving his way through the order. We can show you who has gone where and what has gone on at the moment. You see Swempstra's up one, McIntyre Joe's down one. Not really high movers. Sevillano in 14th, up 11 places. Stuart Milne up 7 places as well. So they're probably the highest gainers over this period of time here. Ed, back up front though, Tony Jimenez, surely this is it. Surely this is his move. He's in a perfect position, isn't he?
Yeah, the problem with Lee Aberdeen is he keeps cutting a massive hole in the air. Okay, the slipstream that all these drivers behind are going to try and take advantage of. So that means he needs to maximize his exit and create no opportunity here for Tony Jimenez to just dive up the inside or potentially go all the way around the outside into Sunset. But Tony is going to just show his nose, let Lee know that he's there. And Jimenez, the Spaniard, gearing up for a run into turn one there with Pedro Suarez waiting to take advantage. He's almost pulling across right to the racing line there to try and sweep through if they hit each other. But Lee Aberdeen gets defensive. Jimenez is just forced to stick to the outside, and they stay exactly where they are. But they're all just looking a little bit tentative, a little bit shaky as they're all second guessing what the driver right next to them is going to try and do next.
I am surprised that move did not get made. I am surprised. I thought with the draft on that, I thought Jimenez would have actually got that, but he did not. Now they're going down through Gurney Bend, down into the hairpin. Here comes currently Pedro Suarez. He holds his position. Jimenez holds his position as well. Into the hairpin they go. Now it's all about straight lining this as much as possible. Suarez there, we're on the front right of Pedro Suarez's car. You can see him jinking around, trying to make the move, going up through into Cunningham now, the right-hander, looking for your break. Marker on the left. Into Cunningham we go. Still no job done for Pedro Suarez. Still no movements for Tony Jimenez either. So are these guys making the moves or are they waiting here? You know, we do have 25 laps. They've got 6 under their belt. We've still got 19 remaining.
We have seen Jimenez and Suarez get it a bit wrong in Le Mans and have to swap positions with each other, and it's slowing them down, letting Aberdeen just control things. So in a way, there's a sense that Jimenez and Suarez are thinking, look, if we work together, we can stick with Aberdeen and pick him off at the end. So that's the way they're thinking. As we see, Chris Trott has hit trouble. Unfortunately, Alex Sevillano-Lado has also dropped right to the back of the field as well. So all that progress gone in an instant.
Yeah, Chris Trott spins it up there. He's trying to hold on to it, doesn't manage it. Stay where you are, Chris. Gets it round. Good job from him and manages to stay out of anybody's way there. So great job from Chris Trott, so stunning, and managed to do it safely as well, Ed, as these guys come running down into turn one now. The left-hander, you see Suarez has just gone up the inside of Jimenez there. Jimenez's going to have to try and go again because he's got Swemstra closing in an absolute rapid rate of knots, and Lado, there's no reason why Lado's out. I think he may have just disconnected because there is nothing to say that Lado had any problems whatsoever apart from him just vanishing from the session. So Alex Lado might have had some internet issues there and connection issues, and unfortunately has dropped out down the order. Fibard Rabelard has got Jacques Willems, Stu Milne up 9 places now. He's chasing down on Willems in 16th place. Is Willems going to be able to get Rabelard? That's going to be the question as these guys head down Gurney Bend into the hairpin. Big gains from Stu Milne, one of the highest gains, the highest gainer I should say, in the top 20. Now we've lost Alex Lado. So how does Milne approach this? Is he clearly approaching the race in the right way, being that he's gaining 9 places already?
Indeed he is. I imagine quite a lot of that is him staying out of trouble, waiting to take advantage of any mistakes in front of him, and like we saw from Alex Sevillano-Lado, just picking them off one by one. Let's hope Stu Milne's, the internet in Scotland stays a little bit more stable on this occasion then, but he is putting a lot of pressure on Jack Williams, and it'd be interesting to see where, if the mistake happens, where Milne is going to try and pounce upon it, as Rabiard, we always seem to see Rabiard qualifying well and having to get very defensive in the race for positions just outside the top 10. So Rabiard doing a solid job at the present moment. But as for the move from Suarez on Jimenez, just a word on that, it looked to me like Tony Jimenez just left the door open into turn one, and Suarez was not going to hang around and wait for a second invitation after squabbling around. He wants Aberdeen to himself, so the truce is off, if there was one in the first place. And Suarez now just 7/10 behind Lee Aberdeen as Jack Williams goes a little bit wide out of the final corner, and Stu Milne is going to gain another position.
Stu Milne on the left-hand side in that 49 machine, Williams in that 23 on the right in the red and blue. They're going to try the side-by-side. They don't. Milne butt tucks in behind Jacques Willems as they go running out to turn 2 here. The left-hander, Milne's now gone up the inside. Is he going to be able to make it work? They've got a jink to the right. Now they're going to come back in again. Is Milne going to get the exit out of this to go down Gurney Bend onto the top of the pod we go with Stu Milne. He's going to be running down now. He's not making inroads here, Ed. The gap, the draft isn't strong enough down that part. The Stu Milne wait for what's going on and going to try and get him down the onward straight, or does he try somewhere else?
It was a pretty good racecraft though. You could tell he was kind of, rather than trying to do a risky move into 1, he thought it might be a smarter move to go into 3. Here we go into turns 10, 11 then, and down towards from Tower through towards Bishop. And again, Milne is just moving around, trying to make Jack Williams make a mistake. And the good thing is he split Williams from the back of Rabiard. So Williams won't be getting as much of a tow down these straights as you see. Putniak's really just trying to push the boat out in the background, and Riotard just getting over the dirt there. Aberdeen, meanwhile, has got Suarez half a second behind him now. So Pedro has really turned the magnets on and zoomed right up to the back of the reigning champion as through Le Mans goes Stu Milne in his quest to challenge Jack Williams. Yeah, they're going to try again here, Jack Williams and Milne. Is he going to be able to close in once more? You see the draft kicking in. Not massive, not massive, not massive indeed. You can see the guys in the background there. That is John McKenzie with Zoltan Zamoda. McKenzie does go through on the inside of Zamoda. Do they make contact at all? Not at the moment. And McKenzie's gone round. Cooked it on the speed too much, and unfortunately John McKenzie does go round there. He's going to have to try and fight his way back through. Aberdeen, Suarez, Jimenez,
kind of as they were, Ed. We go up front and nobody's moved anywhere, but apart from the fact that the time's come down a little bit. Chris Trott has unfortunately had an incident. Maximilian Gerhardt's been off the track, so Motto's had an issue as well, and Evan Way, but obviously we saw John McKenzie have his own spin there. It seems very much draft related. Aberdeen at the front, pulling Suarez, pulling Jimenez, and then you got Swenstra, who's trying to pull McIntyre, who's trying to pull Roon in behind him as well. It's almost like Monaco-esque draft train, you know, and is this something that we're going to see continuously throughout this session?
Potentially, but it really comes down to mistakes are probably the best opportunity to make a move here. Unless we've got a car that's set up with really, really good top speed for the end of that straight into Sunset Bend or even into turn 1 potentially. But a word on poor John McKenzie. He was just trying to hold it around the outside of Zomator at Sunset Bend, which is notoriously difficult to do, and the rear clearly just broke traction completely halfway through the corner because he was so far away from the apex and still had a lot of turning to do effectively. So that was what tripped him up there. But yeah, Lee Aberdeen, as long as Suarez and Jimenez are fighting with each other, it's almost like rearranging deck chairs in the Titanic. It doesn't affect him whatsoever. He's just sailing off into the distance. He's pulled now back to 7/10 ahead, and he set the fastest lap of the race, 2/10 clear of Pedro Suarez then. So he's responded well to the pressure that Suarez has put on him as he rode on board with Roon, watching at Zemstra and McIntyre Jones dueling away in front of him, and Mackenzie Roon will be just thinking, keep fighting, boys, because it lets me get involved to the party as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely does. Mackenzie Roon now is trying to get involved, which is great to see from him. He wants to try and get his way forward. We've also got Kevin Byland in a little bit of a battle with Andy Flint and Clark Williams there in the background at the moment. Coming towards us now is Kevin Byland, with Flint and Williams in behind him. Williams trying to make his way forward, of course, but him is doing a great job. It seems to be having his up and downs, but I think a lot of the people here this season are, and he's going to have to try and make his way forward. You see Andy Flint trying to go alongside Kevin Byland now into the right-hander. Didn't make it through this time around, did Andy. I'm sure he's going to go back and continue to fight once more, which is what's kind of expected at this moment in time. We're kind of getting into that midway part where you really want to start making your way forward now.
Exactly, that was good defensive work from Byland because it really stopped Flint getting any kind of momentum around the outside when he was sort of stranded with nowhere to go effectively. But yeah, and it's put him into the path of Mr. Clark Williams, who's had a pretty solid, not made a huge amount of progress, only 2 positions, and that was sort of both made relatively early on at the start. And so he's sort of just been biding his time behind Flint then. So very, very evenly matched, those two. They always seem to be in the same part of the racetrack. But yeah, up front though, Suarez, you can tell he's starting to respond now as well. The gap just under 3 temps now, so there's a sense of, as you say, time's starting to run out, and Suarez knows he needs to make this move sooner rather than later, because Aberdeen is going to be a huge, huge threat to him in this championship if he doesn't clear him off here.
Yeah, you can see he needs to either clear Aberdeen or he needs to sort of, well, sit there until, I would probably sit there till the last couple of laps. I don't think Suarez is crazy enough to make any moves that's going to cost him his second place, right? Because he has got points over Aberdeen in the championship, you know, and that's the thing for him. It doesn't really need to worry if Lee Aberdeen takes the points at the moment. He's 112, I think it is, ahead of Aberdeen at the moment for Pedro Suarez. Does that give you a different perspective as they're coming down to the right-handers here as well? Does it give you a bit of the perspective that really Suarez can afford to stay where he is?
Typically, you would think, yeah, okay, well, we'll let Lee have that one. But in this case, we've got the drop scores that come into effect later on, where you get to drop your 2 worst results, which definitely plays in favour of Aberdeen, who's had a number of races so far this season that have not quite gone to plan, and is now, in the last couple, finally got things back together in his favour again. So I think if you're Pedro Suarez, you don't want to leave anything up front here. Certainly, they're both pulling away from Tony Jimenez, and Pedro's sort of got Lee Aberdeen to himself. And you can have them private playtime with him, essentially. I'm not sure Lee Aberdeen would be too keen, though. I think he just wants to make an early escape here as soon as possible. But the slipstream that he's giving to Pedro Suarez, he's not got much choice in the map.
Yeah, Alex Lado's in YouTube chat there as well. Unfortunately, it looks like iRacer just kept crashing on him there as well. The consistency for the leaders is just so good to not crack under pressure. I fully agree with you. Obviously for Lee Aberdeen, he's got 2-0 scores at the moment, which is at the Red Bull Ring in round 3 and Silverstone in round 4, but then he's got 41 for Villeneuve, 42 for Catalonia, 43 for Fuji, 43 for Spa. So, you know, for Lee Aberdeen, he's been right up there in the 4 races that he has managed to complete. That was won by Marto and Brent Ruiz. It's just the ones after that where he's got 0 scores that don't add up to anything.
Yeah, but of course, problem with that is even though he gets to drop the 2 rounds that didn't quite go to plan for him at all, it means he's basically got no margin for error. But as you know what they say about the great thing about margin for error, no margin for error is no errors. So you don't make the errors. Simple as that. But for Lee Aberdeen, it may not be that simple, with Pedro Suarez swarming him down the back of his neck like a horde of angry bees. Yeah,
Mackenzie Roon trying to get through on Rob Ridgway here. Ridgway sitting in 7th. Robert Ridgway is chasing down Mackenzie Roon. Mackenzie Roon is trying to get past Will McIntyre-Jones. Sorry about that. Completely missed on that one. And these guys continue to fight it out. Lap 12 and 25. Technically, you could say we're halfway because we can't do 12 and a half laps, right? If you are, you're probably arguing about that where we are right now. And again, it's been very interesting. I thought the draft would have been so much stronger down that Almond Straight, and it just doesn't look like. And you know, we're 3 tenths out here for Thibaut Rabelard over Adam Townsborough, and let's see how much of a strength we get when we're 4.5 by the time we've hit the corner. You can see Townsborough almost pulling away from Rabelard at 4 tenths, so they're going to have to be within that 2.5 tenths region to be able to even make a difference on the draft by the looks of things, because if you're not that close, the draft doesn't look like it's playing an effect at all.
Yeah, you can't just rely on the draft. You've really got to nail those exits as well. And you can tell Rabiard is worried about the progress of Stu Milne. Of course, he's gained 10 positions from where he started in this race, 26th to 16th, and he's looking to try and get into the top 15. So Rabiard needs to clear Talsma, who's gained 1 position from where he started, but he was picked off earlier by Joseph Mark Lucas. Has not looked all that comfortable around here at Sebring, so there could be an opportunity for Rabiard if he times this well. Yeah, meanwhile, other interesting races. I think Clive Williams has got past Andy Milne's for 10th. Oh, and you're in trouble.
Yeah, Stu Milne get it all a little bit wrong there, unfortunately for him. He did end up getting it wrong, coming through the left-hander. And Stu Milne, well, he survived, but boy, oh boy, was that close for Stu Milne coming through onto Gurney there, just onto the curb. Too much power in the car, nearly kicked him out, chewed him up and spat him away there. I want to pick up what's going on down here, because James Rush and Matthew Gracie have been having a right little ding-dong for the last few laps here. Gracie almost side by side does manage to make it round, and Rush sitting in behind him at the moment. I just wanted to pick up because they look like they've swapped places about 4 or 5 times already, and I've swapped it again, so I don't think this battle is completely done here either. I just wanted to pick up on the fact that these guys will continually fight with Gerber in behind him. But back up front, Suarez again closing in on Aberdeen, and again not making that move. Is it going to be the last couple of laps, do you think?
Oh, quite possibly. Look how much they pulled away from Jimenez. As you see in the background, that's Zemstra holding off Will McIntyre-Jones, who's looking very, very racy at the present moment. 2 tenths quicker on the last lap was Pedro Suarez, who again sets the fastest lap of the race. He's really getting the hammer down here. To Lee Aberdeen's credit, he has absolutely matched him, and he is not cracked under immense pressure from the Portuguese driver, who's been one of the classes of the field, who has seen off so many spirited drives from the rest of the field in some of these other races. Like Vestman in Misano, who led quite a lot of that until Suarez just picked him back off at the end, and a couple of other occasions as well. As we see, there's also a big fight between Andy Flint and Kevin Byland, who's now starting to fall down the field behind Clark Williams.
Yeah, these guys continuing to fight here. Clark Williams has cleared Byland, Flint cleared Byland. I'm probably guessing that this is the reason why But Kevin Bylan, he's gone off the side of the circuit, unfortunately. Big snap coming out onto Gurney, and it looks basically
Well to save that, actually. Well to save it, Kevin Bylan.
Yeah, he did well to save it, but it was the same as Andy Flint. Not Andy Flint, Stu Milne. If you go out onto the curb on the exit of 2 and you hit the accelerator, car doesn't like it. You're still on the car, it's unsettled, and the car does end up having to, do basically what he did to Kevin Bylan then, and nearly chewed him up and spat him out, but he managed to hold on to it, which was a great job. I'm surprised there hasn't actually been more there of more people that have made a mistake coming out of that corner, because it is a tricky corner. You've got to open it up, but the problem... Oh!
And that's Clark Williams, isn't it? Just completely losing it, I think, coming out of Le Mans there, having to do a big burnout to face the right way again, but he just got too sucked in, didn't he, to the back of Andy Flint here through Le Mans. We saw even the front row get this corner wrong. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, if you keep an eye on the rear, he literally unsettles the car, and you'll be able to see it bounce. And unfortunately for him, he's just gone a little bit wrong. Watch the whole left side come right side over the curb, unsettles it. He's already starting to lose it. And unfortunately for Clark Williams, it is good night Vienna. Rabelais and Townsville once more side by side. Townsville's going to have the inside. Is he going to be able to hold on here? Rabelais going to try and sweep down the outside as well. Not getting it done. Suarez not getting it done either down into the hairpin. Again, looking at the moves for Suarez, not an aggressive as such of body as language in the car. It looks like he's almost poking Lee Aberdeen to see where he can try and possibly get him to make a mistake.
Yeah, it's very exploratory, isn't it? He's trying to just show his nose, let Lee Aberdeen know he's there, and get Lee Aberdeen just thinking defensively to the point where he can just overwhelm him into a mistake effectively. If he can be sort of omnipresent, for which way you go, I'll be there, essentially, is what Pedro Suarez is trying to do here. And he's done it so effectively so far this season. And of course, Lee Aberdeen isn't so easily he doesn't so easily fall prey to those mind games. So Pedro Suarez might have to try something a little bit tougher than that.
Well, we'll see now. He's 4.5 attempts in. What's the draft going to be like? It's coming down 4-1. Coming down to freeze. Is it going to come down at a rapid rate like it normally does? 3.5, 3-4, 3-3, 3-1, 3. Now we're below 2 attempts again. Now it really, well, you can see it really kicks in. And again, Suarez just lets Aberdeen know he's there. He's now going to look for trying to slingshot off that final corner. 3 attempts on the exit. Is he going to be able to get it down into turn 1? Too far back again for Pedro Suarez. Just cannot carry speed through Sunset to be able to make that move out of it. And you can see in the background, Rob Ridgway and Evan Way, and also Will McIntyre Jones and Kevin Zwemstra were battling it out side by side at one point here currently at the moment. So a lot of battles, 3 pockets of 2 almost, as these guys continue to fight, with Ridgway trying to go around the outside of Evan Way. Surely not. Surely he's not going to be able to get there. Nope, he doesn't. But Way's got to watch that curb. There's that curb that's causing some of the problem here this evening. You're on the car, you're unsettling the car, you start applying the throttle, and the car just goes around and doesn't like it.
Yeah, and you could tell Ridgway was already abandoning and trying to set up his exit here up the inside into the turn 7 hairpin. He goes, and he's made the move stick, but he just needs to seal it on exit here on Evan Way. There we go. Well judged, well planned ahead by Robert Ridgway, and now Evan Way is going to try and go back up the inside then.
Yeah, he's going to come back at him. He's going to come back at him. Through the right-hander of Cunningham now, through Collier we go. Then coming down into Tower. Evan Way's not giving up. You can tighten up Tower if you can get that run. He can't quite get that run this time around. Ridgway does manage to hold on to that place. It should be as they were, as is McIntyre Jones and Kevin Zwemstra. McIntyre Jones still not got through on Zwemstra. There's the guys coming down the Ullman, and this is where I expect it to move. He got a great run. He got an exceptional run there. He's surely got to be able to make it. Surely he is side by side currently. There he is there. Are we going to be able to get up the inside? We are. Where is the car? Slots in behind us. Job done for McIntyre Jones, and Zwemstra is only looking for the return on the back going into turn 1.
Yeah, here we go. Will McIntyre Jones had to get right with one wheel onto the grass there to get that exit, but unfortunately wasn't quite able to get the momentum he needed out of Sunset, and Kevin Zemstra immediately counterattacks and goes back through into turn 1 there. So good on Zemstra to not lose his head. The Dutchman really wasn't going to let that one go without a fight, and this is going to just run to the checkered flag. Surely this hectic fight for 4th, which is almost matched for intensity by the one for the lead, of course. As look at this once again, Will McIntyre-Jones rethinks his plan and has a look up the inside of the hairpin, and again has to back out of that one. But yeah, Suarez, I was looking at his line into Sunset a few laps ago, got very, very close to the inside wall at Sunset, and I wonder if the fact he's taking so many risks there is why he wasn't quite able to get the exit, because it might have been more sensible to drift just a little bit wider and carry a bit more speed through it, rather than going quite so tight towards the wall at the apex. Yeah, absolutely, I do agree on that. There's nice little battles down here. Jacques Willems, Stu Milne, Rabelard, Townsma. Ooh, Townsman's got to be a little bit careful there. Nearly kicked up the dust on the outside, but there he is in front. Rabelard in behind. Jack Williams side by side with Milne, going down into the right hand, and Milne puts it up the inside. Job done for Stu Milne. Now Williams under attack from Putnieks. Is he going to be able to get through this time as well? Not at the moment for Putnieks. Jack Williams is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Does he defend? Does he attack? Well, he's lost that place to Stu Milne, but he did pass Milne before that, and Milne got the position back. So great little swap with these guys going on here currently, but it is still Zwemstra and McIntyre-Jones at one of the closest battles on the track at the moment, and these guys not letting off each other, coming down on down the start finish straight here, coming into turn 1. Yeah, and if you look, they're slightly faster than Tony Jimenez ahead of them, who's only about 1.7 seconds ahead of Zemstra, so he's getting a little bit of slipstream, and that's helping him in this battle against McIntyre-Jones. Mackenzie Roon 2.6 behind, so not too much of a threat, so they've really got this private duel to themselves, and if Jimenez isn't careful, he could get caught here by the end, and we may only be 7 laps to go, but they can go by quickly, especially if you get a bit complacent, which I'm not saying Tony Jimenez is by any stretch of the imagination. You see Stu Milne still fighting away with Jack Williams, and to be fair, Jack Williams not going through easily whatsoever, and now looks like Putnieks is swerving around, looking for an opening here into turn 3, but the Latvian is just cut off, and now he has to fend off his countryman, Ortlov's just behind him. Yeah, Marek Ortlov's behind that one. Marcius Putnieks in here. These guys having a great little 4-way fight. We're keeping an eye on the lead. We're on lap 18. It's going out to about half. Then it's coming down to 2 tenths. And it's going back out and in and out and in and out. It's doing the okey-cokey whites there. At the same time, McIntyre-Jones is doing exactly the same, and Evan Ways is doing exactly the same. However, Townsma and Rabelard are side by side, going into the right hand or at the top of Cunningham. Rabelard's going to get it through. Townsman's going to come back at him again. They're going to run 2 by 2 round through Collier. Now coming into Tower Turn. God, Rabelard can make it tighter there as well. He does make it through. I think that's one of the things with Tower Turn. It does allow you to tighten it up. Now down Fortress Straight. On board we go with Townsma. Is he going to be able to hold it? He's got that outside line. Rabelard's on the inside now, coming into Le Mans. It's going to be a right, and then we got the left over the curve for Rabelard, side by side going down the Allman. Who's going to settle in? Rabelard takes a very wide line there ahead and allows Townsma in front. As soon as Rabelard gets the draft, he's going to be past him as soon as he can. Yeah, fantastic to see them side by side for almost the entire middle sector there. There's also a huge duel with Williams defending just behind. Up the inside goes Rabiard on Townsma, and Townsma's got no answer, just hung out to dry around the outside at Sunset Bend as Williams behind holds off Stu Milne. And here again comes Townsma. He's just got really good straight line speed compared to Rabiard. Yeah, I do agree. But I think Rabiard's going to be there. There he is on the outside at the moment. I'm trying to look at the battle behind. They're in exactly the same situation. They're jumping around. They're swapping all over the place at the moment. This is going to be a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5 car fight very, very shortly, with all of these guys battling away. And Stu Milne's going to be in this mix. Putnieks, Williams is going to be in there. Rabelard's going to be in there. Townsman's trying to escape like a scolded dog at this moment in time. He doesn't want anything of what's going on here. Williams is going to go up the inside. Is he going to make it through from Rabelard? He's not. Right now, he did make it through from. Go on, Jacques, give it some as you go through on that one. Jacques Williams there making a way through. Stu Milne under attack from every which way direction. What do you do, Ed, in this battle? Where do you look when you got cars pushing me around for ages? Well, You gotta get both paces covered, front and behind, essentially. And Stu Milne is just sort of really under attack after making great progress earlier on. He's sort of a sitting duck. Maybe he's used up a lot of his tyres at this point, but Putniek's put in a very, very solid move just in the background, and he's been able to make it stick. And now Ortlovs fancies getting his purple car involved as well. So Mill is just on the defensive here, and that's a lot harder than when you're on the attack and you're just picking off people left, right, and centre, because you suddenly got to look in those wing mirrors and sort of everything sort of tenses up, and you've got to sort of get your elbows out and make sure you don't leave any space if you can't afford it.
Yeah, Rabelard's got Williams has gone on the defensive. He's going to force Rabelard around the outside. Rabelard's going to take it wide now. He should be able to carry a little bit more speed. Be careful what happened to McKenzie. Now Rabelard should almost get like a slingshot effect. Williams swaps sides. He swaps guides again. Jack's playing it smart. He broke the draft the 2 times. He did make a move. However, I'm very ready to move one. But, you know, hey, let's be real about it. Oh, where you gone? There he is. Coming back on once again. That's going to cause a bit of a problem. They've opened up a 1.4 second battle gap to these guys as Milne. Stu Milne. They're almost trying to make a move into turn 2. Coming out through 3. Down Gurney Bend they're going to go. It's Marcius Putnieks with Stu Milne. And again, they've opened up a gap, but that's because these guys are battling as much as the guys behind.
You can tell Putnieks does not really want to leave the door open at all. And in fact, Stu Milne is still squabbling away in the background as Willems gets through and Milne, just loses the back end and loses another position to Ortlovs. So Max Ortlovs, very, very grateful to be given 18th position there. And Stu Milne is just really struggling out there.
Yeah, he is. We'll pop up back up in front here because we've got the man himself, the Canadian, Mr. Consistent. Evan Way is chasing down on is Robert Ridgway in front of him. The leaders are as they are. I promise you, we are looking at them, but at the moment they are as they are. There is no real big movements going on. Evan Way's now got the bit between his teeth. He's got the air and the wind in his sails. He takes the inside line into Sunset. Is he going to be able to hold it? Ridgway ran a little bit wide. That's an extra little bit of a break. Damn, Way! Oh my God, that must have been close for Evan Way on that wall.
Yeah, it was like evasive manoeuvres at that moment. He's still side by side with Ridgway as they go towards turn on. Ridgway can just sweep around the outside. Evan Way, though, gets tight to the inside, and he's able to hold on to that one. So, of course, he may not have had the momentum, but he had just enough grip to stick it on the inside there. So, brave stuff from Evan Way. And he sort of has to get those elbows out because he really cannot afford to just hemorrhage positions here. But Andy Flint has actually been lapping very personal bests at the moment and coasting up to the back of both of them in the 158.8s, whereas Way and Ridgway are 152.2s and 152.5s respectively.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. It's like anything, right? You battle, you're going to slow each other down, and they are doing just that. Ridgway sweeps around the outside. Now Evan Way's going to try and come back on the inside on that run down Fangio into Cunningham. Way's holding that outside line. He takes a big wide line there. Is he going to go and dive it up the inside? He isn't, and Ridgway blocks him off and says no, not this time. Townsburg, Willems, Rabelard still going. Putnieks, Ortlovs, they've dropped Stu Milne off a little bit. He must have been off the side of the circuit. He has for Stu Milne, so he's dropped off a little bit more. But it's you've got to look at it as a three-way fight with Townsburg, Willems and Rabelard. Then you've got Roon, Ridgway, Way, and then Swepster and Jimenez. It's going to be tight trying to pick up on who's going to be where coming towards the end of this race.
Yeah, and full credit to Adam Talsma. Not the quickest in this race, but so difficult for all these drivers to pass. And he's certainly putting on a spectacular show. His round goes Rabillard. The Frenchman has dropped it.
Can we guarantee that was on the curb on the outside here? Is this where it's going to happen? Is that curb going to unsettle the car? Through he goes. No, it's already unsettled on the way in. Rabelard was already unsettled on the way in. You see the car skip and hop around, and unfortunately for Rabelard, he was unfortunately unsettled there. McIntyre, Jones, Webster, Way, Ridgway, Flint. Now Flint's joined in the party. He's got a piece of the draft. He's pulling himself to forward, is Andy Flint. He's got 3 laps to go. Can he clear both of these within 3 laps, do you think?
Yeah, he's not just joining the party, he's crashing the party right as it's about to end effectively. But look at Ridgway now all over the back of Way once more. Got a great run then through Gurney Corner, then towards turn 7 hairpin they go. He's going to be a little bit on the outside here because Way is defending the middle of the road and forcing him to go where he really doesn't want to. So that means Evan Way holds on to that 7th position.
Yeah, he does at the moment. You can see there in the back through the wing of Evanway is Ridgway coming into Cunningham. I'm expecting Ridgway to come right looming into the picture, which he did do. Now he's going to back away once more. We're going to go and see what's going on with Webster and McIntyre Jones. Well, they're still literally nose to tail. Is this McIntyre Jones's opportunity, do you think, going on to the Ormond once more, Ed?
Yeah, you can tell he's getting very, very close to the back, but it's almost a detriment at a certain point through some of these corners because, he just got a little bit out of shape on the exit of Le Mans there. He's getting almost so tucked in behind him that he's having to almost get on the brakes a bit earlier than he really, really wants to because there's this black and green car that's in the way effectively. So it's been very, very nip and tuck between them as he gets right to the inside as McIntyre Jones. Zemstra has him covered.
Yeah, he does. I was trying to pick up on what was going on with Evan Way, Ridgway and Flynn. At one point there was like a bit, Evan. He does love getting close to that wall, Ed, on the exit of that Sunset corner, does Evan Way, and he must be a heart in the mouth moment in the car there. Swemstra's now, Ridgway's now going to try and go up the inside, nothing doing there again. It's a constant battle, and we've got Townsend and Williams here. Townsend's just gone up the inside of Jacques Williams. Is Williams going to try and slingshot his way past him on the run down into turn one as well?
You can tell Townsend knows exactly which where the good defensive line is here at Sebring, and he's hogging it very, very much to his benefit there. And Jack Williams doing well to just stay with him at the present moment, but there might be an opportunity in these last couple of laps. I think Evan Way, the reason he's getting so close to the edge of the warp is because he knows Ridgway is probably a little bit more confident through Sunset Bend, so he's got to take risks to keep him at bay, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree on that one. Well, he's going to have to take another risk because, look, they're not giving up here. They are literally not giving up. We'll jump on board with Flint. We can see what Andy Flint is going to do. How is he going to play this through the right hand or a tower? Ridgway steady. A little bit of a run on the dirt for Ridgway through the left hand of Bishop's Bend. Now the right hander again here coming into the Le Mans complex. Ridgway gets it a little bit wrong. He's had to tighten up the next couple of apexes there. Now Flint's on the grass. Now it's all about follow the leader. You can see them weaving backwards and forwards. Is Ridgway getting closer? He is getting closer. Is it going to be close enough? Here goes Robert Ridgway now through the outside. No, he backed away from Evan Way and allowed Evan to take the corner away, as did Webster with McIntyre Jones. But now Ridgway's going for it once more. Is he going to be looking at the inside? He is here for them now. Evan Way, is he going to be able to hold it? Currently at the moment he isn't going to be able to hold it, and there is Rob Ridgway going through, but Way's coming back at him here. Ed is not getting it all his own way, is Ridgway.
Yeah, you saw Robert just sacrifice his entry into Sunset to focus on nailing that exit, which he absolutely did do. And Evan Way, once he didn't have the inside, that battle was not going to go his way. As McIntyre Jones has got past Zemstra, by the way, while we've been watching this.
Yeah, here we go once more. Side by side they go with Ridgway, with Way, and Flynn in the background. As I said, Webster and McIntyre Jones. McIntyre Jones did manage to get past as Kevin. So we'll have a look back and see how that one was done. And this is a run down to the hairpin. McIntyre Jones holding it there away from Kevin Swemster. So a great job from him. The battle's not finished, but this battle is also not finished, as Evan Way has just gone up the inside of Rob Ridgway through the Collier, through Tower Turn, and is now taking that position again on the run down into Bishops.
You could tell Robert Ridgway left just the tiniest gap, and Evan Way had about a split second to commit to that, and he did it 100%. And I think Robert wasn't really expecting that. And Andy Flynn, he's been treated to a great show, isn't he? Just about keeping it on the road himself as well.
Yeah, he's kind of in the best position, isn't he? We can see literally everything.
Apart from us.
Well, yeah, of course, apart from us, because we can see the whole thing. But look, you can see them. Who is that slow car? Who actually is that slow car? That's McIntyre Jones. That's McIntyre Jones. He's had a problem. Oh, he's dropped away from Zwemstra and he's now in attack. We're on the final lap of the race. The Aberdeen is on the run down through Gurney. We'll have a look and see what happened to McIntyre Jones, but he must have just lost it somewhere. And unfortunately for Will McIntyre Jones, he's now in a push. Flint's gone onto the grass. Here's a really quick look. Oh, he's bumped it on the way in over that curb. Oh, no. Will McIntyre Jones finishes off with a nice little pirouette. There goes Mackenzie Roon. McIntyre Jones does hold it on, but then now side by side, him and Evan Way. Flint got a little bit loose. He lost some traction and ground as well. He's got Ridgway now tucked in behind him. It's a 4-car fight, final lap, and half a lap of the race remaining.
Yeah, well, McIntyre Jones was constantly dancing with disaster every time he got so close out onto the grass, and finally it bit him. And look, Evan Way up the inside into the middle sector here into turn 10, and for 11 they're still going to be side by side, and McIntyre Jones just holding on to 6th now by the skin of his teeth, and he's got to drive the widest car you've ever seen.
Yeah, I got the funny feeling this is going to go off right at the moment where I need to go down to Aberdeen crossing the line, because Aberdeen's on his way down into Sunset. These guys are on their way coming onto the Oldham. So this is going to be a quick flick here, because I want to see how this battle turns out. Aberdeen's coming around the final corner. We'll pick up on him as there. Everway gets it all a little bit wrong, but it's going to be Lee Aberdeen. He's going to come over the line, take that checker flag from Pedro Suarez in second, Tony Jimenez in third. What's going on here? This is what's going on here. There's a lot of movement. Way's got up the inside through Sunset. McIntyre Jones is going to try and hold on. Flint's going to want to get the run behind that. Rob Ridgway as well. They're going to be three wide over the line. It's going to be Evan Way, McIntyre Jones, Andy Flynn, McIntyre Jones. Oh my God. He just got the absolute run of the evening out of the final corner. Adam Townsman, Marcius Putnieks going for it as well. Putnieks is going to try that wide line run here, Ed, and over the line he's going to go. But McIntyre Jones, gee whiz, Batman. He got the run and a half coming out of that final corner.
He did, yeah, so... But it was Way that really messed up, I think, just going that a little bit too wide, as he was tending to do, as well as Eddie Amos is sizing up a move here on John McKenzie. He's had some adventures today, and the Welshman versus the Scotsman. It's the Welshman that's got the inside for Sunset Bend. Again, John McKenzie takes the extremely wide line and crushes right into the wall.
Oh, John!
Oh, he just clipped it, didn't he? Just before the bridge where it sticks out there.
Yeah,
Really unlucky for McKenzie.
you just see him go further and further, isn't he? Yeah, that's a bit of a rubbish camera angle, to be blatantly honest, but I want to pick it up from there. You can see here, he's just coming in the Sunset, just runs wide. Oh, clips the wall.
Might have hit the bump as well. From then on, he was sort of passenger. It's like when he spun earlier, except obviously with much bigger consequences.
Yeah. I want to have a look at these guys going over this line again. How they made this work 3 wide, coming down and making it over the line. McIntyre Jones must have got the run and a half here. We'll go on board. There's Evan Way. We're going to have Andy Flint on the outside, and then all of a sudden he just tightens it up. Evan Way's just gone wider and wider and wider, and then we get this run down to the line, and you cannot get much closer than that. 4 cars all within a blanket of each other, Ed. That is just absolutely insane, but it is your winner, Lee Aberdeen, taking the victory there as well. Great ending between them 4.
Yeah, very, very entertaining race. Unfortunately for Suarez, with about 7-8 laps to go, he dropped just beyond a second behind Aberdeen, and sort of decided it wasn't really worth pushing too much. His lap times consistently just sort of slightly slower. So Aberdeen sort of just had the edge throughout a beautifully managed race, 3 in a row for the Australian, for the reigning champion in iGPFun in Super Formula Lights Super League. But yeah, that fight between Will McIntyre Jones, Evan Way, Andy Flint, and Robert Ridgway. It was sort of Will McIntyre Jones dropped himself into that one and then just about held on. So it made it even more exciting. I think if it wasn't for that, Evan Way probably would have been quite happy with 7th. But as it is, he's probably quite disappointed now.
Yeah, absolutely. I do fully agree on that. Now let's bring you up the results here. because, well, that was just an epic ending. Lee Aberdeen, your winner by 1.166 over Pedro Suarez and Tony Jimenez in third. Kevin Swemster, great battle with Will McIntyre-Jones until we dropped it. Mackenzie Roon gained fifth place from that incident. McIntyre-Jones, Evan Way, Andy Flynn and Rob Ridgway were battling 4 wide and almost coming over the line. A great job from them. That's down in 9th. Then you got Kevin Byland in 10th, Donnelly 11th, Clark Williams 12th, Adam Townsend 13th, Marcius Putnieks 14th, and Marek Otlovs down in 15th place. Then Joseph Lucas, Stuart Milne, Jack Williams, Fibar Rabelard and Costas Tenebrail round out the top 20. And Guyan in 21st, and Ben Goyette, Eddie Amos, Zoltan Samoda, and then Noel Richie Robinson is your top 25. Then Matthew Gracie, Dorian Aruro, Maximilian Gerhardt, John McKenzie, Patrick Williams, Marcello Kessler, James Rush and Chris Trott are your top 33. And then the final ones after 33 were Alex Lado, Clam Seater and Koji Ito. Well, I don't think we could get a more thrilling ending to a race that wasn't for the lead position.
Yeah, that battle for sixth was quite something. Really, all the midfield was really spectacular. Some great racecraft on show. A couple of mistakes as well of the getting into the mix as well. But really up front, it was a case of everyone just sort of biding their time, waiting for their moment. And yeah, Aberdeen had Suarez covered. Jimenez couldn't quite live with the pace of either of them. And Zemstra and Will McIntyre. It's a shame for Will McIntyre-Jones because I think he really had fourth in the palm of his hand before he just danced with disaster just that little bit too closely to the edge. And unfortunately, it bit him and meant that he ended up in that amazing scrap with Way, Flint and Ridgway. But yeah, the big gain for positions, by the way, Ortlovs gaining 12 positions from where he started. So him and Putnieks were very quietly impressive, the Latvians, in 14th and 15th. Sort of outshining Stu Milne in the end once his tyres had gone at the end of the race.
I fully agree. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us for what has been a very, very lively round 8 here from these guys. And I think you can safely say it is a race and a half. Join us next week as we're off to the Hungaro Ring next week for these ones, and then we're going off to Mugello the week after, then Twin Ring Matigi, and then we finish the season off at Zandvoort. But thank you so much for joining me. I've been James Parfitt. I've been joined in the booth by one Mr. Edward Hunter here this evening. Thank you to everybody that's joined us in YouTube chat. It's been going great to see the chat moving all the way through. So from myself and Ed Hunter, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.